Okay, this is another video of technical analysis about Bitcoin from your host, Mr. G, and I have some good news for you. A massive rally is gearing up for Bitcoin. Now, of course, I know the popular narrative everybody's talking about. This time is different. This time is different. The stock market is going to collapse. Big capitulation event is coming for the stock market, and the economy is shit. And because of that, and that has never happened in Bitcoin history, that the economy was such shit and the stock market would collapse. So everybody's expecting Bitcoin to perform less than usual and not follow the usual cycles. And to be fair, I do believe in this narrative. I'm not saying it is false. I'm a pretty bearish guy right now on the economy and on the stock market. But the thing is, Bitcoin is a freaking roller coaster. You can't just expect it's going to keep going down constantly, okay? There's all sorts of ups and downs. No one knows where the bottom is. And there could be a massive rally and then a big dump, which would bring the price back down to where it is right now or even lower. But what I see right now in the charts is a lot of bullish indicators, a lot of bullish observations that I need to share right now. So, first of all, let's look at the stochastic. That is the main thing. I'm on the weekly right now, okay? So the stochastic right here, as you can see, there's a trend line going on, okay? It's contracting, and it's been contracting since the top. And every time the stochastic comes close to this trend line, it gets back down, and it happened again here. And to be fair, probably I should put it a little more like this. So what happens when these things happen is that you don't know exactly when it'll happen. It could happen here and it pops on the other side. It could happen much later at the very end of this contraction and then pop. It could even happen like this, and then there's a little dump back to the trend line and then the move, or it could happen immediately. Okay, so it's hard to tell the time frame when it's gonna happen, at what price level is gonna happen. Is it gonna happen slowly like this, or is it gonna have a big dump and then get a big rally? This is what's hard to know. Obviously, everything's hard to know, but this has such a high probability of success, and I'm going to show you why. That I'm very, very confident it's coming. It's just hard to know from where. So that's why you gotta manage your risk well. Dollar cost average. Don't go all in. All these good things. And of course, I'm not saying you should do any of this. Maybe it's time to go all in. I have no idea. Maybe it's time to not touch this and it's going to zero. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot tell you what to do, but I'm telling you what I do and what I'm thinking in these times. And my main strategy is I want tons of Bitcoin at cheapest price possible for the long term. That's how I see the world. The world is going, freedom is becoming one of the most scarce thing in the world. I know people think it's a crybaby when we cry about. No. Look at China. Look at North Korea. Look at Middle Eastern. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at our countries with mandates and all sorts of shit. I live in Canada. The freedom has got. The Charter of Rights is not even a thing anymore. They don't care. The judges don't care. The justice system don't care. They say it's an emergency. Everything's okay. Rights do not apply. So freedom is becoming so scarce. So in a financial world where the your finances are the way to destroy someone and to control someone is control his finances. Of course, Bitcoin is like a no-brainer. It's gonna pop in the upside for sure. It's just a matter of time, but it could go down between before that. What I look at is technical analysis. So look at this trend line right here. You may think, it's not, why would I trust this? I don't care. It doesn't make any sense. Well, look at the stochastic right here. In 2020, there was a trend line right there. Okay, I was talking about this. I didn't have my channel at the time, unfortunately, but I kept talking about this, my friends, everybody around me, and I wish someone would have listened because I saw some people buy way too high like crazy. I did not short this. Even though I could see the stochastic was contracting, there was less and less time. At some point, it was going to pop the other side with a big counter move, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly when the stochastic popped the trend line, that's exactly when the big counter move happened. So I did not short this. Why? Because I did not know. Look at all this space right here. The trend line was going up to then. The stochastic could have stayed contracted like this and then pop, and that could have been at 150k, who knows. So I did not short this, and that's why I'm not going long with a huge leverage either right now. I'm just accumulating and keeping money for if it goes lower. But it seems to me like a good point to start getting in. And what happened then? Boom, a big counter moves. Now let's go see in the past again right here. Now that was a bearish contraction. That was a bear market in 2018. Contracting, everything going down. But at some point, the stochastic, I don't even know how the fuck this thing works. All I know is I've been observing these things for years, and not just on Bitcoin. I'll show you later on multiple markets, on multiple time frames. These things have an extremely high probability of success. It's very rare that it just fucks you up, but it does happen, but it's very rare. So look at this. It's contracting, and at some point there's no more space. The stochastic has to go somewhere, and then it pops in the above the trend line, and what happens then? Up to the heavens, and you see the stochastic following. Now let's go see in the past again. You'd see another big one right there. That was the 2016-17 epic bull market of Bitcoin. And look at this, for how long the stochastic was contracting. It could have went for some time again. There was still some space, but then it popped. And of course, it's hard to say when it's right here. Has it popped? It's hard to say and to sell the exact top. Very hard, but because the stochastic could keep going up and then keep contracting like this. But when it starts going down like this, then you know, oh my God, there's new movement coming. And so that's a very important thing. And when you see the contraction with such a powerful blow off parabola like this, well, it may tell you maybe not when to short, because that's very dangerous. The stochastic could pop down the trend line with a counter move at any price level. It's very hard to choose a price level where it's going to happen. But what you know is you probably shouldn't get in when it's like so contracted like this. You shouldn't use just that. It's not just the stochastics telling you how to act, but it's a very powerful thing. Now, let me show you, this is not just on Bitcoin. This is happening on all markets. Now, you see this S&P 500 right there. You see what's going on? Well, let's go see on my channel. Let me brag a little bit and explain my theory at the same time. A couple of maybe a year ago, I made a video, S&P 500 correction incoming. Let's watch this. It's somewhere over here. I'll just mute that thing, and look at this. Okay, what the hell's going on there? Do you see this move? Okay, and now look at the S&P 500. What happened? Almost exactly with the thing I draw. Okay, how the hell did I knew this? I did not know for sure, but what I knew is that there was fuel for the fire. All that was needed is some sparks and the fire would burn. Just like there was right here. You can see that was before the virus situation in the world. The stochastic was contracting. This is on a weekly S&P 500. There's a trend line contracting, and when it popped, that's when the virus happened. Of course, the virus was the spark, but it's a spark. The fuel, you could see that there was fuel with this stochastic as it was contracting, and after that it was doing the exact same thing. And look, I made my video when it was just, there was barely any space left. It had to, there was something coming for sure, a counter move for sure. It's kind of like a spring. You contract your spring, and at some point the spring is too contracted. It has to pop the other way. So that's what happened. Now let me be a little bit humble here. My call was not perfect at all. What had happened here is when it popped, you can see it popped right there. You got a small downwards move, which could have been nice. Someone could have made profits, but then a big fake out going back up, stochastic going back up, making you doubt, oh no, is it one of these very rare occurrences where the stochastic is not my friend? Well, actually it was. The move happened, but it was a fake out. And these things happen as much on stochastic as on price action. When a trend line gets broken, it often gets retested from the other side, and then the move happens. Very, very common thing. So keep in mind this could happen. Let's go back on Bitcoin. Right here. Okay. So this could definitely happen. So look, there's a lot of time left. There's almost like 2-3 months left. So everything's possible. We could get a big bad dump right here. The stochastic would stay glued to the floor. But then at some point, the stochastic would have to pop. It's almost inevitable. If you use I'm talking about statistics here. Of course, there's nothing which is inevitable. But probabilistically speaking, it's almost inevitable. So what I'm saying is either we're going to get a big pop right here, probably I would guess to this massive trend line that got broken here, so it could get retested, maybe even higher, or you're going to get a dump. And my target is around 10K. I'm not convinced at all what price it would be, but then a big bad move. And I'm not talking about a dead cat bounce like we've been seeing here and even here. I'm talking about a big move. Look at this. This is stochastic contracting for a year and a half, maybe even more. So when the move happens, it's going to be big. It's going to bring FOMO. It's going to bring you that excitement that people are going to start thinking, is Bitcoin back? I think it's going to be crap, and the rally will not last. It's going to be sold into, and the economy is shit, and the stock market's going to collapse. But that's probably for another video. But it still can be a pretty damn huge move to get a swing trade and just get more dollars to buy back more Bitcoin cheaper later. So, but even then, I could be wrong about that. Maybe Fed's gonna start printing again, and and this is the actual bottom. I don't think so. But one of the reasons I don't think so, let me show you this. I'm just gonna, oh, no, before I show you this, just a little something. See this monthly stochastic? I was talking about it a year and a half ago. Let me just go back to my channel. I was talking about it, I don't remember which video it was, one of these ones. Where look at this, it was such an obvious pattern. I was talking about it right here that it was probably going to go down, because look at this, it's like 4 years monthly stochastic doing the exact same thing all the time, and it happened. So of course maybe this time's different, economy is shit, but if cycles keep repeating and repeating, and my predictions keep being good and good every time because the cycles keep repeating, I mean, I gotta put my bet on cycles repeating. And even if I'm wrong, and the not that I'm wrong, but even if the Bitcoin follows a stock market crash very well, and we get a very, very big dump. I think even then, the bounce, the rally after that would probably be not as big as usually in Bitcoin cycle. But it's like the cycle is still happening. It's just happening in a different environment. So I would just expect maybe the dumps to be a bit lower and the rallies to be not as high. But probably the cycle's still going to happen. That's what I think, because don't go against something that just keeps happening again and again. Okay, and look at the stochastic right now. It is the best place you want to buy your Bitcoin. Historically, it's amazing. What the hell? It's amazing how the low oversold territory of the stochastic for Bitcoin has always been a massive accumulation period. Look right here, it was here. It took a couple of months, to be fair, guys. Don't be in a hurry, okay? I'm not saying you're going to get rich tonight, but it could happen. We're in this period where it's time to not be too fearful. Same thing here. Stochastic was here. Big accumulation period. Now look, the blue lines are the halvings. Look at where it happens. After around a quarter or a third of the gap between these two halvings, you get the top, and then you get the accumulation periods around 2/3 in the time period between the two halvings. Okay, same thing here. Around the third of the gap between these two halvings, you get the pop, and then the top, and then 2/3 of the gap you get the accumulation period. And now we got the exact same thing. A quarter or 2/3 of the gap you get the top, and then the accumulation period right there. I do believe that we're starting to get into it. And if everything is worse because the times are different and the economy is shit, well, it may be just a little bit longer. Maybe we're gonna get a little bit deeper, but the rebound will be massive, guys. That's what Bitcoin does. It pushes people to extreme fear, and then it pushes people to extreme greed, and it always does that, even in bear markets or in bull markets. Even when bull markets happen, there's massive corrections that push people in fear when they should not be. And it always does that. And look, we've been in fear for like more than 6 months, 8 months. I'm not too sure. It's more than enough indicators for me to start being excited about this. Now, another thing I wanted to show you is look at this. Oh, that's another nice thing. Hash ribbons. If you looked into this, it tells you green is capitulation signal and blue is buy signal, and it's always been pretty damn good. There was here, there was here, there was here, there was here, there was here. That's not perfect because price ended up lower, but look how great of a bounce you got after this buy. So capitulation and buy saying right now. Okay, that's interesting. Now another thing, you get the Pi cycle bottom. Okay, Pi cycle bottom is said that this is two moving averages right here. It's been flashing the signal that this is the bottom. Now the bottom last time it flashed was right here, exact bottom right here, pretty much exact bottom too, even though look, a lot of scare for quite some time. So I'm not saying you're gonna get rich quick. I'm just saying we're probably in this, which is kind of ridiculous. I'm saying like, hey, be patient, and I think this is the moment, but I'm talking super fast like I'm on cocaine, even though I'm not. Perfectly natural, sober state of mind right now. But yeah, that's what the Pi cycle bottom. Now you're saying, well, what should I trust this? I don't know. Pi cycle bottom, what the hell? Well, look, last time everybody thought the exact same thing about the Pi cycle top. Should we trust this? Pi cycle top, it was saying flashing right here. When the two moving averages cross, it's right here, was the top. And it wasn't actually the top. There was a higher high here. But I was talking about how this was a bear market right here, because to me that was the top. So even though there was a higher top, I still consider this the top. This was the real top to me, and this was a huge fake out. So I do consider that this could be right now. I should explain that same thing here. The two moving averages crossed here, that was the top. Two moving averages crossed around here, that was the top. So this pi cycle is very, very powerful, and is doubted every time it happens, but every time people should not doubt it. As you can see, it always been working perfect. So what I do consider that we've never seen a blow off top, a double top in Bitcoin before. So should we expect the same kind of bottom we've seen before? Probably not. So I do suspect that we could have a fake bottom, which means a massive rally, maybe even more than this, maybe after the higher than this trend line, and then a big massive dump as the stock market's dumping and the economy is collapsing and all that, which would be just a massive bear trap. And then, okay, that's what I actually, if I had to bet, I think this is the most likely scenario. Kind of the reverse of what happened here. So that these are my thoughts. Now, let me just finish with the moving averages, because if you've been following my channel, you know that moving averages are very important to me. And what are the moving averages saying right now? Well, right now, moving averages are saying screaming bottom time. This is bottom. It's crazy. Look at this. This weekly 200 moving average is the white, 200 exponential moving average is the blue, and the purple, which comes later, is the 377 exponential moving average. Now, in 2014, you got these blue and white supporting the price almost perfectly, amazing. Now, 2018 doesn't support as perfectly. The blue gets blasted through, becomes resistance, which probably scared a whole lot of people. But the white, the 200 MA supported the price very well. The pink never touched it. So the price went deeper into the moving averages. If you notice, it went deeper, as you can see, okay? Then virus dump goes even deeper. Now it touched the pink line, the 377, and got bought up, and then stayed for some time at the blue and the white. Then goes even deeper. Now it blasted the blue and blasted the white. And now it's at the pink. Pink is supporting perfectly right now. So it seems to me like we should expect these moving averages to be blasted through deeper and deeper and deeper, which makes sense because they're averages. And if the whole theory of Bitcoin that it's going to become less volatile with time, thus becoming a better store of value, a better currency, if we want to use it in that way, it's going to be better with time because it's still young. It's like 14 years, Bitcoin. And so naturally you get super high volatility, but at some point you're going to get less volatility. I think that makes sense, and I think that's what we see with these moving averages. They're becoming more and more deep into the moving averages. But as you can see, Bitcoin almost spent all his freaking life above these moving averages. So when it's so deep right now into them, I mean, it's so unlikely that this is not a good accumulation period. I'm not saying that for sure it's going to go up from here, but it's so unlikely that it's not a good accumulation period. I mean, we're talking about averages here. It has to follow the averages at least a little bit, you know. Okay, so another thing is the yellow. I want to add the yellow, which is my favorite, is the 21 moving average, exponential moving average. This is on the weekly. A very powerful 21. I don't know why, but man, oh man, this give a lot of insights. And look what happens when the market is powerful. The moving average, the yellow, is far above the other one. It moves much faster. So when the price goes down, it goes down to the other moving averages. And when in 2014, when the yellow came close to the lower ones, that was exactly the accumulation period. It never crossed down. It just got above like this, and it was perfect accumulation time. Now, in 2018, same thing happens. When the bull market was hot, the yellow was far above the other two. And then when the price went down, the yellow moving average went down. And then when it almost touched the blue, that's when, boom, you got a massive explosion upwards. That was the accumulation period. Exactly before the yellow was very close and when it was very close, okay? And now, what do we have right here? Look at this. Again, the same theory of volatility becoming lower, becoming again relevant, because now you got a cross, you got a literal cross, and because of we're talking weekly, it's almost certain that it's gonna make a real cross. We would need a massive green candle like this right here to avoid this cross, which is extremely unlikely. Could happen. We've seen some crazy things. That was a very crazy one right there, but very unlikely. So, this said, we're right now at the period where when this happens has always been the greatest accumulation time ever. So, let's say right now, let's say that in 2018, the economy was shit and the stock market decided to make a major crash. Do you think the Bitcoin would have gone to $500? I don't think so. I think at worst maybe you got a little dippy dip, but you probably got a bounce then, and maybe it wouldn't have gone as high. Maybe not 14K. Maybe it would have stopped, I don't know, 8K, and then bounced like this, and then back up. Who knows? But what's for sure is I don't think this would have happened and going to zero. That's just nonsense to me. So right now, when the yellow going in the blue, going deeper into the moving averages, probably gonna cross and all that, is telling us we're in the accumulation period. But let's say the economy is shit and Bitcoin doesn't perform as usual. Well, maybe you're gonna get a dip down, like I said, and then, but whatever it is, whatever it's this or this. I mean, what's just very obvious is that with all the indicators I shown you, all the signs, how the hell can you imagine that it's gonna do this? I just don't believe it. I think that's nonsense. That's doom and gloom, crazy, paranoid thought. And the halving is coming. So, and the halving, everybody says the halving's the time to buy. No, look, it's an interesting time to buy for sure. But last halving, you would have gotten it around $600 when you could have had it $200 if you were much earlier. And then here, halving, you would have gotten your Bitcoin at $9,000. You could have had it $3,000 earlier. So halving's coming in what, a year, maybe something like that. Sure, it's gonna probably be good time to buy, but it's highly likely that right now is better time. Now, how low can it go? I'll just finish with that because who knows, maybe it's gonna go very low right here, right now. To be fair, like guys, let me just take away these things. Look at this trend line. You see this trend line right there? This is extremely powerful trend line. This is very rare. You rarely see such a obvious powerful trend line. Okay, so many, we're talking about a weekly, so many weeks were support, resistance right there, support again, never stops, and then boom again. Now for sure it happened and then it's testing again, so maybe that's when it's gonna break. But what's for sure is if it breaks, it's probably gonna be a big move, probably gonna go to someone like 10K, unless it does a dippy dip and fake out and gets bought up immediately. That could happen, and it would be seen in hindsight like it was still supporting price, the trend line. But if it breaks, look, I'll go into the daily, you'll see more details. Look at this. When the trend line finally broke, the only time it broke in history, it was the virus dump, and it was pretty much exactly from that point that the massive candle happened. And that's not a coincidence. When you see a powerful trend line and it gets broken, that's usually the exact point where the explosion starts. So you see a big move. So this is possible. Look, if the trend line breaks, it could be a very big move. That's why I would never ever go with a high leverage long position right now. Never. I mean, I'm not going leverage at all, but I mean, if I had to do it, probably I would go 2x maximum. I would never go. It's very dangerous. So, and I'm keeping money on the side because I do expect and I want, if the Bitcoin prices go to 10K or even 5K, which is possible, guys, 6K, very possible, I won't have money to be able to buy that and average in my position, which means that if I get a position that's, let's say, somewhat here, because I averaged in, I highly doubt I'm gonna be in the red for a long time. The stochastic, weekly stochastic is gonna pop. There's gonna be some green action. All right, so it's probably been way too long video, so I'm gonna stop right here, and that's pretty much it. Okay, ciao, bye, ciao, guys.